out of bed afraid that you're gonna, I don't know, start doing some early 1980s dances. And so this is the more mellow, the new Power Hour. And sitting across from me to help usher in this bright new day is Bishop Dwayne David Royster.
And sitting across from me is the Reverend Dr. Mark Kelly Tyler. Namaste.
Namaste, my brother. Namaste. And the glue holding it all together. She's relaxed this morning is none other than Kawesa.
Kawesa.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kawesa. How are you today?
I am just floating on a cloud this morning.
And how was your commute into the office?
It wasn't bad at all. It is cold though. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
So cold.
A very brisk temperature this morning to awaken your senses.
I'm sorry, y'all.
What is it? Is it are we going too fast? Is the pace too brisk this morning? You see, I mean, we have to follow the seasons. Spring doesn't just throw itself upon winter. It eases in. You get some 40s and then some 50s, and then you get into the 60s and 70s. And apparently we haven't learned that. So I'm trying to take a cue from the seasons. By 7 o'clock, when we get ready to go off the air, you'll have our kind of normal tempo. Robert Garland, are we frozen? No, it's not frozen.
We didn't get the rest of the traffic, though. How was the traffic coming in Kuwait?
Oh no, it wasn't bad at all. I did get stuck behind someone who decided to go 20 miles per hour on a 40. Ouch. So I did divert and go a different way because, and they were one of my fellow New Jerseyans. I was like, I need for you to learn how to drive out here. I didn't find it appropriate that they were going so slow. But yeah, besides that, it wasn't bad at all. It's just, it's really brisk outside. I did go back to my big jacket because it is that cold. And I just recommend to anyone who's, leaving out around this time, you might need some gloves. And I'm not kidding. So, yeah, that's about it, though.
Gotcha. Thank you for weather and traffic.
Yeah.
We
got a lot.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, it's a lot. Is today Earth Day?
Today is Earth Day.
Earth Day?
So, yes. In celebration of Earth Day, WURD Radio's EchoWURD initiative, hosted by Charles Ellison, EchoWURD managing editor and reality check host, will explore a conversation on environmental justice, outlining the theme, Fight for Our Space. Join Charles today as he hosts a special broadcast from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., exploring this year's overall theme, Exploring Our Earth, with an emphasis on Fight for Our Space, which focuses on natural processes, emerging green technologies, and innovative thinking that can restore the world's ecosystems. Check out echowurd.com for more information.
Namaste, my brother. Namaste.
Namaste.
Do yoga people will they get mad at you for using that word if you're not like a yoga person?
I don't know. It could be cultural appropriation. We have to be careful.
It comes from a particular culture?
Actually, I think it comes from the country of India. Is it not a practice of folk out there?
I thought it came from Berkeley. I mean, I grew up in Oakland.
That is so white supremacist, right? It's like everything comes from America, right? But actually, no.
Berkeley is not like America. Have you ever been to Berkeley?
Yes, I've been to Berkeley.
You've been to Shattuck Avenue?
I actually went down to the University of California at Berkeley to use their library once.
Yeah, I bet that was an experience.
It was indeed.
Yeah. Tawanda says, you're sounding extra bassy this morning. Are you good? Yes. Here's the issue. Good. You all have, so listen, we pride ourselves on organizing, and we respect the game. And so apparently some of you have out-organized us. So we ain't mad at you because we respect good organizing. So apparently some of you all have used your phones to organize against our opening song. Let's be clear, I picked that song. Bishop picked the closing song. I picked the opening song. So apparently you all don't like it. At least those of the squeaky wheel gets the grease, is what they say. Ruben says, are you both serious about the pace today? Yes, this is going to be our new pace. You see, opening songs for a show, it's kind of like the music that the driver picks on a long trip. And so it's like, well, do you want the driver to be good to stay awake and get you there safely? Or do you want to hear the music you want? But I'm good with it. So you don't like Run DMC, we'll find a song. So each morning we're going to find a new song. That was morning meditations this morning. I don't know what that is, but we're trying to find the slowest thing we can find. So if you have very slow song recommendations, put them in there. Maybe like A Change Is Gonna Come by Sam Cooke. I don't know. But apparently you all don't like being jarred out of bed in the morning. I was thinking Early in the Morning by Gap Band, but I guess that rooster, that tire burning rubber probably is not much better, is it? Who doesn't like Run DMC? I don't know, Tawanda. But this is what I would say to you. If you like the original song, you should call the station. Not this telephone number. Call the management. And, express yourself. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe it's just that, complaining people get more attention. I don't know. But, yeah. But until then, it's going to be slow to start. And we'll work our way up. How do you do your fingers with namaste? Is this it?
You just kind of do, put your, yeah, it's like a whole thing. Yeah, I don't fully understand it.
All right. I was gonna say what I do.
I have ritual practices. I don't know others, so that's no offense to anybody. I just don't know what they are. So,
I think it's maybe Felicia, Feely for short. She said she liked Run DMC. Well, I don't know. You all haven't told anybody. You gotta let people know. Let's see. Gary said I need that song in the morning. Don't tell us. Tell WURD's management. And I've got a feeling if more of you say we like the song than those of you who say we don't, maybe we can bring the song back. But until then, you get morning meditation. Is that fair? That's fair. So, bro, this morning.
Yes. A lot going on.
Whew, yes, man. Well, Mimi says, actually, when I do listen, I wait to turn the show on after the opening song. So she doesn't like the song. There you go, Mimi. Well, there you go. To each his or her own. So, so this morning, my friend.
Yes.
So many places we could start. It's Earth Day today. And a lot still happening around the Chauvin fallout. Can we just say to people who are out there demonstrating in our name, make sure that you get all your facts right before you go out there? Did you see what happened in New York at the taqueria?
No.
It's, a taqueria.
Yeah, a little taco shop, yeah.
Yeah, but it's a very nice Mexican themed restaurant in New York City. I think it was in Brooklyn, if I'm not mistaken. So a group of protesters celebrating the Chauvin conviction roll up on outside diners. And the leader of the group was a white guy chanting, get the F out of Brooklyn. We don't want your effing money. This is a white man-owned taqueria. And led the group as they walked away saying, fire, fire to gentrifiers.
Oh, wow.
Problem is, the dude who owns it is like a Mexican-American.
Oh, wow.
From San Francisco. My homie.
Oh, wow.
And almost his entire staff are people of color. Who've had a hard time, obviously.
They're trying to make it through this, yeah, absolutely.
And so their idea is to scare away all the diners and confront them, I guess, in our name. There has been, let me just say, man, I mean, honestly, and watching Portland and places like that, I've had some real mixed emotions about, and obviously we work with a ton of white allies who understand and deeply respect and appreciate, black leadership when you're talking about issues of black folk and are typically deferential. Like, yo, we're here to support. But when you get stuff like this, that is just like, bro, I don't know who you're out there doing that for.
Yeah, I've had really mixed emotions about the whole jury taken to the streets thing anyway. And you and I have talked about this offline, and I've been talking about it within Power, because my biggest thing is, like, if we really want the change, we got to change the policies and the laws that make things happen. And you're right. Like that incident that happened in front of the Taqueria, one of it's destructive, and then two, there's a white guy that's now building a wedge between black folk and Mexican folk, right? Uh, and not at our behest. We did not ask him to do that. And so, in this moment, it would just be helpful for folk to take that energy and focus it on real substantive change that can happen when we direct it not at the universe, but we direct it specifically in the places where the changes can be made. The city councils, the mayors, the police commissioners, places like that. Even the federal level when they're trying to pass the law around George Floyd that would ban certain use of police force across the country. We need to direct that energy in those places so that we can begin a process of transformation for public safety and also begin a healing process at the same time.
Yeah, well, so a part of this is, and I've had this feeling a lot since last year. I mean, it's always kind of been out there, this element that there are people who want to latch on to black causes in moments like this, where it's very easy to get a crowd. I mean, now look, bro, you and I know. I mean, you remember how hard it was to get like 7,000 people out to march in the cold in 2015 for the Martin Luther King, the first MLK Dare event that we did. Where we helped to bring together 30 plus organizations, some small, some large, unions. Then we had to bring together the teachers union, like SEIU. I mean, there were just a ton of, there was so much effort to get 7,000 people out that day that it took weeks. Now, dude, you can post a tweet and 10,000 people show up. They don't even have to even know who it is. And in this moment, if you're not careful, people who have their own agenda that has nothing to do with you will use it and co-opt it to further their own. And a lot of these folks, I mean, look, there are plenty of reasons to be angry in this country about a lot of things, especially around issues of the way in which capitalism operates in this country. And yet, again, don't take our issue and, the dead folk that we are trying to remember and honor and fight for and their families, and then use that for your issue because you think that somehow that's disrespectful. And that's what I saw in that video. Here's this white guy, chanting on behalf of black folk to a Mexican-owned restaurant, we don't want your effing white man-owned restaurant here. Like, dude, you're kind of the only white dude in this situation.
Right. And you causing problems talking about gentrifiers. I guess you're trying to identify yourself with the cause of the folk.
Right.
And in that case, you probably should not be leading that march. You should be following somebody else who's leading that march.
Well, yes, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
That absolutely would be nice.
But again, I think and I say that because here locally as well, you have to be careful about, again, who you follow and, where you show up. Last week, for example, there was a demonstration. There was a lot of controversy within the activist circles. Someone put a flyer out that said they were organizing a march for, in preparation for the verdict coming down. And the flyer said, this is not organized by any organization, no organizers, no activists. This is anonymous, and just come out and show up. Wow. I didn't send that to you, did I?
No, you did not send that to me.
Yeah. what caught my attention was a fellow, organizer in a different space. And when I saw his post about, I will not share information by people who are anonymous, X, Y, and Z, and he's like, this is how COINTEL operated in the past and things of that nature. I was like, yo, what's that about? And I looked into it, and sure enough, there's flyers out there. And apparently a lot of people showed up for it Saturday.
Really?
Yeah, oh God, yeah.
Was it the anarchist? I mean,
I have no idea, but I'm just saying, it's like, people, whenever a crowd shows up, that's an opportunity for somebody who's trying to push a message. Right?
Well, somebody had to organize it, and somebody had the lead when you get out there. I mean, it's not just mass chaos. Somebody's taking the microphone or taking the bullhorn and leading at some point. So it was probably somebody else's way of trying not to go through the organizations that are actually doing the work and trying to make a name for themselves.
Well,
build their own base.
Yeah. Speaking of somebody taking advantage of the movement, man, guess who possibly will be running for the United States Senate?
Oh my goodness, who's that?
Out of Missouri. Take a wild guess. Who is like who could possibly use this moment of great pain for Black folk to make a name for him or herself? Who would you possibly think?
Out of Missouri?
Out of Missouri. Out of St. Louis. The Lou.
I have no idea. No idea.
So remember the white couple who were?
Oh my goodness, no. The ones that pulled the guns on the marchers that were just walking down the street because they were afraid they were going to run up on their property?
Yes.
They were charged with a crime. I mean, they were actually charged with some crimes for doing that, too.
McCloskey. But you know what they also were? They were also given primetime speaking at Donald Trump's...
fake convention.
Yeah, what do you call it? A fake convention?
Fake Republican convention, yes.
Right. So, so the fake... what's that? The FRNC? Yeah. So the FRNC, they were given a primetime speaking role and were able to really kind of make it. He's a very well-to-do lawyer. If you saw their house, you know what I mean? If that says anything about how well-to-do you are.
Missouri.
And so Missouri's what?
It's cheap.
Okay.
The cost of living there is not very high, so you can get a very nice house for not a lot of money.
All right. So he of the AR-15 toting, AR-15 style toting. Remember his wife had the handgun pointed in a really weird way?
Yes. She didn't know how to handle it.
Like she had the eraser in her hand or something. It's like, now you boys get out of here, or I'm going to find the trigger on this thing. You don't want to see me pop a cap at anybody. Dude is like literally, seriously, because Roy Blunt is not running in 2022. And so my man is seriously going to run. And dude, you know what? He actually could win.
Well, yeah, Missouri, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that's Trump territory. So that's actually very highly probable that he could potentially win the race. And he would have the backing of Trump. That would certainly be, he would fly in for him, come in and do rallies for him, make him feel like, he was a superhero. Yeah.
I mean, really. So, that, and then you add to that again, I think we mentioned earlier this week, one of the former officers who was a part of the Breonna Taylor raid that left her dead has a book deal. I mean, this continue, the ways in which people use and profit off of our misery is just, I mean, it's beyond insulting, right? I don't even, there probably really aren't even words to express it. And yet, Black folks still dying. We got to take a break. It's 6:22 in the morning, and we'll come back. We'll talk about some of the more pressing issues of the day that are facing us, and look forward to the rest of the day here at WURD Radio. This is the Power Hour.
Recovery starts with a call. Pennsylvania's Substance Use Disorder Hotline is staffed by real people who are trained to help. They're here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They'll get you or your loved one into treatment regardless of your access to insurance. If you or someone you know is suffering from addiction, call 1-800-662-HELP. Recovery starts with a call.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
WURD Radio 2021 Level Up winner Anissa Smith is hosting her Black Food and Dessert Expo April 23rd, 24th, and 25th at the Urban Ridge, located at 5261 Ridge Avenue in Philadelphia. Titled The Spring Pop-Up Experience, is a power hour of sampling delicious food and drinks from one of the local chefs and bakers. Come taste and shop and have an amazing time in unity, safely together. The Black Food and Dessert Expo are excited to offer a place for consumers to shop safely while supporting Black-owned businesses. Safety is the #1 concern. This is a mask-required event, except when you're sampling the food, of course. They have built-in 1-hour breaks to properly clean and sanitize the venue in between shop blocks. All guests will have their temperature taken before entry, and sanitizer and hand wipes will be available throughout the venue. To purchase tickets, go to the letter B, fadetickets.com. Again, that's bfadetickets.com. See you all for the Black Food and Dessert Expo Spring Pop-Up Experience. See you there.
Hi, this is Councilmember Derek Green with new information about COVID vaccines. Soon, all Philadelphians over the age of 16 will be eligible for vaccination. However, you must be registered with the city to get vaccinated. Register today at phila.gov and fill out the vaccine interest form or email covid@phila.gov. If you can't complete the form, call 311 to get registered. Your information is confidential. We all want a healthier, better Philadelphia. Get registered today.
Hey everyone, it's Michelle Obama, and I wanted to let you know that Barack and I couldn't be more thrilled that we got our COVID-19 vaccine. This is a deadly disease, and we know the vaccine will protect us from getting really sick. It's how we'll start getting back to seeing friends and family and doing all those things we love again. So I hope you'll join me, Barack, and millions of others around the country and get your vaccine as soon as it's available to you. It's safe, it's free, and it could save your life or the life of someone you love. To learn more, just go to cdc.gov/coronavirus. I know it's been a long, hard year, but we can beat back this pandemic. With your help, we can do this.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent Black media.
Welcome back to the Power Hour. This is Dwayne Royster along with Mark Kelly Tyler. We're here Monday through Fridays from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. to bring you the latest in news, happenings around Philadelphia, and of course, our opinions. And we have plenty of them.
I'm going to grab my candle. As we said at the top of the show, if you're just tuning in and you're wondering, why does their pace seem so slow this morning? Apparently, we've been going too fast for some. We've been jarring even, kind of scaring you out of the bed in the morning. You want to kind of like, have those blinds open. It's, welcome to Earth in. After all, it is Earth Day.
Earth
so,
Day.
yeah. So namaste. Oh, I was Amistad. No.
Amistad, that's the ship. Yes.
So let me ask you a question. This is serious. So, there's a movement out there. You and I have debated this a lot. Mm-hmm. Not debated it, we talked about this a lot. Because I think we're pretty much on the same side of the issue, maybe different degrees. But so, when you talk about today a modern abolitionist, that has multiple meanings for people.
Right.
So for some, that is that there are just way too many people in jail for just things. I mean, that basically it's because you're poor, right? I mean, that you wouldn't be in jail. I mean, so these are petty kind of things that if you had $500, you could have bailed yourself out and waited for a hearing. And it's just, that really is the only reason. And then there are others who take a firm position that, there should be zero carceral systems, that jails should not exist for anybody in society. And, I have really struggled with that, and I want to just say at the outset, that, I don't think we need to demonize each other as like, as organizers and activists when we have differences of opinion. You're seeing a lot of that this week in the wake of the shooting, the tragic shooting death of the young woman, Ma'Khia Bryant in Columbus. But we can see things in different ways without, having to like go to the extent of like canceling each other.
Right.
And so within the space, there is a real push to have like that Philadelphia would have no jail at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've kind of really struggled with that because, obviously, strikes me right away is like, well, where do you put pedophiles? What do you do with people who just wantonly kill other people or assault other people or strong arm rob other people? I mean, what do you do with those kind of people? And so I guess one of my questions is like, how does the Derek Chauvin conviction fit into kind of that worldview? Should he go to jail in a strictly, in a very strict abolitionist kind of way that you don't want jail for anybody? Does that include Derek Chauvin? And I do intend to ask this question to some of my friends who hold this position, because I'm genuinely interested in the answer.
So, first of all, I believe there is evil in the world, and have seen evil face to face. And I think we over incarcerate people in this country, and I think we over police people in this country. But let me be clear. There are some folk that need to be in jail. That there are some folk that have no good intent whatsoever, and try as might as you want to rehabilitate them, they are a danger to themselves and to society. And so I don't know that we need, all the people in jail that we do, people that are there because they can't afford $100 bail or $1,000 bail. If the bail is that low, it's not that high of a risk that they are, that they need to be in jail for that. But we do have people out there that are just wanton murderers, rapists, and others. And, they need to be locked up. They need to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, and they need to be kept from society. So I know that's not a very popular position, but, I'm sorry. There's some mean, evil people out there that just don't. No matter what you do and no matter how hard you try, they will not or won't change. They will not or cannot change, and therefore they are a danger to society, and they need to be kept away.
Well, I would suspect that we have some folk who are, who kind of fit that category of like strict abolition, who even listen to the show. And so if that's you, I mean, love to, hear your thoughts this morning. You can post them in the chat. And because again, so some of the people that I know are, hardcore abolitionists and don't want jails for anybody. I've actually seen celebrating the conviction of Derek Chauvin on social media. And it promptly made me kind of think about this, like, well, he's been convicted, so now is this like fishing where it's catch and release, right?
Yeah.
Caught you, convicted you, now go out there, and as we say at communion on Sundays when people leave the communion table, go and sin no more.
Yeah. Rosalind Allen says, and that goes for the policemen to an electoral officials and the people that work in the prison system. Anyone else has committing a crime, including the school teachers and anybody else that's wrong. Yes, if you're wrong and you're a danger to society, you need to go to jail.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it is. So see, this is, I mean, look, first of all, let me just say again at the outset, I absolutely understand how a person would arrive at that conclusion. When you look at, anybody who, is not, if you haven't had a chance to peruse Michelle Alexander's The New Jim Crow, or to take a look at Ava DuVernay's powerful documentary, The 13th, it is certainly understandable when we have seen how the prison system has been weaponized against Black people. So I totally understand why our reaction would be, let's just get rid of all the jails. It's the same reaction that, that has come for many of us in the wake of, the policing as it has been used against Black people, that would make people say, we don't want any law enforcement, no police, let the community elders handle all disputes. neither in a society as large as ours, I believe, are tenable or workable, right? But that doesn't mean I don't understand why you feel that way.
Well, I mean, I think that the model that many folk are trying to work on in terms of abolition and getting the community elders can work. It just can't work in this society. And I mean, I think that in many ways, the way that it operated back in indigenous communities or it operated in, African tribes, but what happens is that it is the whole of the culture and community that is reinforcing those laws, right? And we also know that they also killed people who, were out of control, and they didn't, take control of them. They were, they were forced out of the community. They were shunned, so forth. And so, but in American society, because we've had a couple hundred years of, not a couple, 350 years of the way that we have existed right now, it will be very difficult to make that transition. The other piece of it is too, and this is the thing we have to recognize. I mean, we often don't want to, talk about this, but there is, the crime within our own communities that actually makes the elders not want to come out their houses. So if the elders don't want to come out their house, how are they going to be expected to pass judgment if they cannot get the whole of the community on the same page?
Oh my God, hold on. I'm going to check to see if hell is frozen over this morning. I know it was snowing yesterday in Ohio and Michigan, so that's close in April. But you and Will Mega just said the same thing.
Did we really?
OMG.
Oh, wow.
Will Mega just posted in the comments, let's get rid of jails after we get rid of crime.
Wow. Wow, Will and I are on the same page. That's impressive.
We should have like a special like sound effect whenever that happens.
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, that's look, he just said it. That's the sound bite of what you just said, right?
Right.
That yes, who wants jails? Nobody. But at the same time, I mean, we have to be honest about the world that we live in. I mean, I think that is the real struggle and the wrestling that we have with this moment that we're in, right? And so that's why I said again that it is. I mean, I have like so many just like, I talked yesterday about my emotions about the trial. Actually, was asked to write an op-ed as a result of my social media post by the Inquirer. I think they're going to post it today.
Oh,
and yeah, but I mean, but it's 500 words, so you can't really go into it. But I kept thinking about my frustrations. With like I was in a Wawa up in Roxborough a couple of years ago. And, it's the new one. And so it's like huge. And I pulled over against the fence to make a call in my car. And like literally you could have driven 2 diesel trucks past me on my left side. There was nothing near me.
Side by side, right. Yeah.
But the the 5th district is right behind it. And so apparently a couple of cops, these are black cops, roll up. And I can tell what happened. They're not paying attention. They think I'm moving and I'm not. I'm sitting there. They're just talking. Before they know it, they're like right behind my car. Now, all he had to do was just back up and go around me. But you know what he did?
Turned his lights on, told you to move.
Yeah, he goes on the microphone. Move. And I'm like, yo, who's he talking to? And I look around. I'm like, dude, I'm like, go around. He's like, I said move. So I get out the car like, yo, bro, you have a ton of space. You're illegally parked here. I'm like, A, this is private property. Wawa or CVS, if they didn't call you, you have no right to. So I said, you know what? I'm going to move my car and I'm going to follow you to where you park. And we park next to each other. I said, what's your name? You don't need my name. I said, I need your name. I need your badge number. And I'm thinking to myself, like, you idiot, I've got the cell phone number of your boss. You don't. Like, you want me to call Rich Ross right now and put him on? I mean, it's just, but it's, in that moment, seriously, a part of what like just brought me to tears in the wake of that, of the conviction, is remembering that moment that, that this was all driven by his pride, his ego, because you weren't paying attention. And instead of you just backing up like any other citizen would do, you're the police and you ain't got to back up. People have to move for you, whether you're right or wrong. And so there are so many of us who could have been and almost were put in a position like George Floyd for things as petty as that. And so the frustration is real. The pain is palpable. You can almost touch it in the air. And then at the same time, somehow we still need a force to offer protection so that it is not the wild, wild west and every family for themselves. And that is the real struggle, how we do this.
Policing is problematic. And not to mention the egos of the police are problematic as well, right? Like the cop just didn't have to yell at you like that, right? To tell you to move. That was just totally and completely unnecessary.
Go embarrass me and Wawa like I did something wrong.
Right. And you just sit there trying to figure out what you're doing. I mean, I've had these encounters with cops. I'll never forget. This happened years ago, so now you're gonna get me telling stories. I was living in Mount Airy at the time, East Mount Airy, and I was on Staten Avenue, and I made a left turn onto my street, which there's only two, either right turn or left turn. It's a 1-block street that I lived on, and cop pulls me over and tells me I made an illegal left turn. Now, here's the thing, right? At the time, I was actually a police chaplain. I was part of the police clergy group that they had. And he pulls me over, and he's yelling at me, and he doesn't want to get out of his car. He makes me get out of my car and walk over to him. So he wasn't afraid.
Right.
But he makes me get out of my car, walk over to him. And he's like, I need your driver's license and registration. And I hand him my police chaplain ID and my license and my registration. And then he gives it back to me, and he drives off really fast. And, I'm sitting there like, he's like, well, before he gives it back to me, you made an illegal left turn. I said, there's no sign out there that says illegal left turn. And I said, if you're coming down this street to get on this street and you're going in this direction, there's only one way to get there, and that's to make a left turn. I said, I had my turn signal on, so there was nothing illegal about what I had done. Nevertheless, he takes the thing and drives off. And I mean, part of it was driving while black. I had a decent car. I was in my early 20s at the time, and I was being harassed by the police.
Well, Asa says police, Asa Khalif posts in the chat, police drunk by power and pride.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's not forget the spirit of anti-blackness. And that's exactly right. I mean,
but that's even with black cops, though. These were black cops that did this.
Right. See, and this is what I'm, so here's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
There is, when you there are just some people who can't handle that level of power. Mm-hmm. To be a police officer, you have to be the ultimate steward. That is, to be a manager and to understand that the power is not your own, that you are representing someone else. And I mean, bro, look, let's break it down even lower than this. Make somebody the chairperson of an event in your church who doesn't understand the nature of power, and you can create a dictator without even knowing it, right? I mean, all you are is just the chair of a 2-person committee, you and somebody else. And, and that's not everybody, but that is some people. And so when people like that get hold of that kind of power and cannot handle it, what you have is what happened in the case of George Floyd. The hands in the pocket, the arrogance, the smugness, looking at the crowd, which was to say, as again, many of us have experienced personally with cops like that I have the power in this situation, and turn your cameras on. Ain't nothing you can do. I'll get up when I want to get up.
That's right.
I'll get up when I want to get up. So in spite of what a Brett Favre said, who said, I don't think that Derek Chauvin intended to kill him. I'm not saying it's right, but I don't think that was his intent. Well, what was it? I mean, how many people have been under his knee before George Floyd?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All the stories of other people who've had the same kind of experiences. And so, again, it is so this drunkenness with power, and a police commissioner cannot be in the car with every single officer.
That's right.
So we have this is probably the quandary of all quandaries, because on the other side of this, the communities that need support the most are Black and brown communities in our city. We got to take a quick break. When we come back on the other side, we'll finish up this convo today. Sorry, Kwesi, we went over long, both segments. It's 6:43 in the morning.
Jefferson Health offers no-cost COVID-19 testing sites at St. Raymond of Pinafort Church. Testing is on Thursdays and Saturdays. A second testing location has been added at Richard Allen Preparatory Charter School. Testing is on Wednesdays and Fridays. For testing hours and more information, visit jeffersonhealth.org/community testing.
Okay, Her's new fire potato chips and cheese curls, they are spicy. Whew, they're hottest snacks yet. Hold on. Whew. But you know, it's not just heat. There's some nice sweet and savory stuff going on too. Ooh, there's that heat again. It burns, but it burns so tasty. Ooh, that's hot. Find Her's Fire Snacks at your store today. Whew. Taste the flavor, feel the heat, break out the Her's.
Parents, teachers, guardians, 100 Black Men of Philadelphia offers a free mentoring program for boys in 1st through 12th grades every 1st and 3rd Saturday. Students will engage in age-appropriate youth development, career exploration, critical thinking, and leadership activities. Students can earn monthly stipends for participation and are eligible for electronic gift cards, prizes, and scholarships. Register today at www.100blackmenphilly.org or call 267-258-2900.
Tired of doom scrolling? Discover a new way to social distance with Philadelphia's own Curtis Institute of Music. This spring, Curtis presents more than 24 free virtual concerts. From virtuosic solos to premieres of new orchestra music, the Curtis Institute cultivates world-class artists right here in Philly. Explore thrilling performances delivered straight to your inbox. See, hear, and feel the power of world-class performances by a new generation of musical legends. Join www.curtis.edu/performances.
Tune in Saturdays from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. to hear Empire Capital and Consulting founder Mark Palmer's show titled Black Money, Black Power. This show centers around black money and how black power is derived from money. Tune in every Saturday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Black Money, Black Power, hosted by Mark Palmer.
Now, a traffic update on WURD Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by Mattress Firm. Volume picks up southbound 95, Cotman down through Bridge again. Allegheny through Girard northbound looks good. Westbound buying delays from 8th Street out through Broad. Schuylkill Expressway both ways not bad. Yes, southbound Boulevard Route 1 a bit slow. Broad down to Fox through that construction. PA Turnpike Blue Route 476 in pretty good shape. Still 55 northbound Deptford into 42. Getting a bit heavy there now. Save up to $300 on top-rated brands like Sealy and Sleepy's at Mattress Firm right now. And you can get a free adjustable base when you spend $6.99 or more to elevate your sleep every night. Save big, sleep better. Shop the semi-annual sale now. For more traffic information, log on to SIGAlert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
Now, a WURD weather update. Here's NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
A blast of cold air this morning. Gusty winds making 30s feel like they are in the 20s. We'll see lots of sunshine this morning and warm only into the mid-40s by lunchtime. Then clouds blow back in this afternoon, limiting our warm up to 52 degrees today. Mainly clear tonight, not as windy, and a cold start tomorrow morning down to 39 degrees in Philadelphia. A high of 65 with sunshine for Friday. A sunny start to Saturday, 46 the low and up to 70 in the afternoon, but clouds building later in the day and a chance of rain coming Saturday night. I'm NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent black media.
Welcome back to the Power Hour. This is Dwayne Royster along with Mark Kelly Tyler. We just a reminder today is Earth Day, and there's a special event happening today. Charles Ellis is hosting a special broadcast from 1 to 4 p.m. That will regard exploring our Earth with an emphasis on Fight for Our Space, which focuses on natural processes, emerging green technologies, and innovative thinking that can restore the world's ecosystem. So check that out later on today. Charles Ellis will be Ellison will be leading that conversation. So, Earth Day, the issues around the environment are incredibly important to us as folk of color, and we should make sure that we're staying in tune and on top of those issues, because just like we're talking about policing, how the environment impacts us is just as equally bad all across the world.
But isn't it the same issue in a sense? It's about stewardship. It's about stewardship, right?
Absolutely.
So that, if you think that the earth is yours to dominate and to just do as you please, you could care less about polluting it, about raiding its resources, about making it unsustainable, because what the hell do you care? It's just here for you, right? you're not here for it. And so it's yours to misuse however you please. And likewise, that's the same thing I'm talking about with policing, with elected officials.
Absolutely.
Hey, we are not immune to it with clergy, with pastors, with people who are in leadership. Thank you, Sheriff Bilal, who posted in the chat that absolute power corrupts absolutely. And when you get out on those streets, man, some of these folk act like they think they are the judge, the jury, and the executioner all rolled into one person. And if you cross them, do so at your own peril.
Absolutely. That is the way that they act and the way that they show up. It's absolutely, it's just not helpful.
Hey, I know we can talk about this other story. Let me just read Asa Cleave's post. He says what I've been thinking, and I don't wish suicide on anybody. And, and partly because of also some theological concerns and reasons there. But he said, I predict Chauvin will commit suicide within 2 years. I was looking at him and I was thinking, like, I don't know if this dude's going to make it.
Wow.
Yeah, because,
Well, first of all, I mean, he's got a lot of appeals ahead of him, and the judge already hooked him up. So, that is, that's a piece that, the judge already used Maxine Waters as a way for him to get away from, not having to serve his term, and it'll be appealed. And I mean, he might have to stay in jail while they're going through the appeals process. But his attorney probably already filed the appeal. I wouldn't doubt that from it.
So you think the appeals will give him the hope, even if it's false hope, it never happens, to kind of hold on?
Yeah. I mean, I think that. I mean, if the defense attorney's good, he's going to use the political moment to be able to do that.
Go back. If what?
If the defense attorney's good, he's going to use. Huh?
We already know the answer. He's not. he was. I'm not throwing shade, but he was not a good defense attorney.
Well, I don't know if he wasn't a good defense attorney or that Keith Ellison, the Attorney General from Minnesota, just brought out his A-team.
Bruh, can we talk about how black folks saved this thing?
That brother at the closing was awesome.
That dude, I was like, first of all, that prosecutor, they were gutsy having a black man try a white cop for killing a black man in Minnesota. That was a gutsy call. But Keith Ellison, right, former U.S. House member, now State Attorney General, he's the one who interceded and really helped, because everything I heard about this in the very beginning is the initial charges. It was a mess when it was done locally, but Keith saved it and really reorganized it. Man, that part is extremely important for us not to forget too.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I actually tweeted about Keith Ellison and his team, and I was like, thank you for your intention and your passion in this case. So shout out to Attorney General Keith Ellison. I've had the chance to meet a few occasions. Good guy, real good guy. Hey, before we go, I just want to hit this article real quick. I sent it over to you. So I am not a sports guy, as many people know. I always tell people politics is my sports. But there's this article that's out in the Associated Press about the fact that the NFL, the National Football League, is planning on making some changes to its combine. Now, I have compared the combine to a slave auction. So, if you've listened to me on this show before, because everything they do all these medical tests, they're running them through all these paces, they're checking their teeth, they're doing all kinds of stuff. And, people know that one of the ways that folk used to determine whether a slave was good or not was they would check their teeth to see if their teeth were healthy. And if the teeth were healthy, then the slave was healthy. And especially for the black male slaves, they were trying to determine, if they had themselves a good buck or not. And so part of the problem with the combine is that it's actually been really intrusive. And they've actually had problems because they also start questioning, they have points where they're questioning some of the players and the player candidates that they're looking for. And there's been a series of apologies they've had to do. In 2010, Miami Dolphins general manager Jeff Ireland apologized to Dallas Cowboys first-round draft pick Des Bryant for asking during a pre-draft visit whether his mother was a prostitute. In 2016, Then Atlanta Falcons coach Dan Quinn apologized to Eli Apple because one of the coaches asked the cornerback his sexual preference. In 2018, LSU running back Darius Gusay said one team at the Combine asked about his sexuality and inquired if his mother was a prostitute. And then here's the story that really is this deep. Former NFL tight end Benjamin Watson, who played 16 seasons between 2004 and 2020, compared the interview process to an interrogation. Let's listen to what he said. I remember sitting in a dark room with a huge spotlight, Watson told the AP. There's a seat there like you're being interrogated for a crime, and all the front office staff is in the back in the shadows, and you can't see them. The guy grabbed my wrist, and he's like, I can feel your pulse, so I know if you're lying to me. Have you ever smoked marijuana? I said, no, I really hadn't. I never smoked. He said, I think you're lying. I can feel your pulse. Are you lying to us? I said, no, I'm not. He said, so for a minute, I thought I actually did smoke marijuana, and maybe I needed to confess to a crime that I did not commit. These sorts of tactics are what's happening with the Combine, and are not being monitored. Definitely need to be done away with that. So
Dude,
this is why I talk about sports being problematic. And this is why I say that this is the manifestation of the slave industry, right? This is still, 200 years, almost 200 years later, we are still having these problems, and these people see black men. They're looking at black men, and all they're seeing are property, and they are treating them like they are a chattel. And that, my friends, is a problem. This is why I have a problem with the NFL.
So if you can post it, the article is in the AP. Folk are asking if you can post it. You just have a problem with sports, and this article happens to give you some more ammunition. And I will agree, this is a horrible article. But man, is your mama a prostitute?
Yo, dude,
have you ever
problematic?
First of all, have you ever smoked weed? Like, well, you live in Philadelphia, you got a contact high for sure. Because riding down the street in Philly on a motorcycle, man, it's dangerous.
You will catch a contact, right?
I'm like, yeah, it doesn't have to be 420 day either. It's just like, I mean, every day is like, it's a danger. But that is a horrible article. We need to get, we should get Chris Murray, who has a show on here on Saturday mornings, a sports show, to talk about that, because there's probably a lot more to unpack, and we're not doing it justice this morning. But man, is your mama a prostitute?
And Will's disagreeing with me. He's and he actually made a comment that it's like it's like But anyway,
shout out today.
Yeah, I mean. All right, look, we got to go. Hey, listen, everybody, thank you for joining us for the Power Hour. We're glad that you made it here with us today. Thank you, Dr. Tyler, for everything that you do. Thank you, Quasar, for holding down the boards. Thank you to everybody that's listened to us on the air, through the app, through Facebook, through YouTube, whatever means that you are listening to us. We deeply appreciate it. That's why we're here each and every morning. Stay tuned for now. We'll Wake Up with Word with Solomon Jones. And family, do us a favor. Go out. Change the damn world, because if you don't, nobody else will. Peace.
Namaste.